Hello, it is I again, great Mason Logsdon. I'm a bit sick, which is weird because I'm never sick, ever. But the person who works at my culinary class was sick, and I guess it got passed down to me. But that's whatever. That doesn't matter. That's fine. Anyway, let's get down to business. I don't specifically remember what I rambled about, but I know it was an hour. I know it was about how much shit I've been through and that I probably should have killed myself by now, but I surprisingly haven't. And then a whole bunch of other shit. And I know the other shit also includes women. We'll touch on that again. So, anyway, fucking recently, things have been going pretty well. I mean, culinary class though. It's as productive as I'm gonna get. I'm only getting rage baited a little bit, whatever. I injured my lower back stretching. So that was fun. It wasn't like as bad as it usually is when I injure myself, but it's still just enough to be like an obstacle. But it has been getting better, so I'll take it. And you'd be like, "Well, Mason, what stretch were you doing?" And it's the one when you're on the ground, you spread your legs apart, and then you kind of like lean over to touch your toes. And you're like, "Well, how'd you do that? How'd you hurt your lower back?" Well, when I was stretching, I feel it in like my hamstring or my calf or like something like that. I don't feel it in my lower back. So I just kept going lower and lower and lower. And then I guess I just hurt my lower back, which kind of fucking sucked. But, it's whatever. We'll get past it. I'm 20, so I should be fine. I'm only wearing my body out like some car with 400,000 miles on it. At the age of 20, it's gonna be so fun when I'm older and fold like a piece of paper. But anyway, that's been going pretty good, right? And then get this. While I was at culinary class, I get a text from this lady, right? Lady, this woman, um, and last time I talked to her was like 3 months ago, and I just assumed that was gonna be the end of it because it was like, yeah, like I'm not in the right headspace for it, and I'm like, all right, that's cool, that's whatever. I won't talk to you unless you talk to me. So have a good one. She's like, yep. It's like, sweet. And then 3 months pass, and I'm like, well, that's whatever. It was good while it lasted, I guess. And culinary class, Friday, near the end of the day. So probably around like 2 o'clock or something like that, I think. I want to say. Um, I I go to the bathroom and I have the apron on me. And I'm like, oh fuck, I have the apron on me. But hey, wait, hold on. I look kind of good in the mirror right now though. This apron's kind of snatching my waist. I might as well take a picture. Not put this apron and let it waste, right? I gotta put in the dirty laundry now. But hey, take advantage of it. I do that. Pull my phone out. Oh hey, what the fuck? I got a message from this girl after 3 months. I guess she remembered me. So that's cool. Um, and and so after culinary class, we're talking a bit more, and it's like, she was like, "Hey Mason, how's it been?" And I'm like, "It's been going pretty well. Started the culinary thing, like I told you. I mean, everything's been kind of up. No, nothing to really complain about. And we get to talking, blah blah blah. And then eventually she's like, "Hey, you know, want to change the subject?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Well, what do you have in mind?" And she's like, "Well, do you want to go out on Saturday?" And I'm like, "Fuck." Right? Like, well, why would you say fuck? Well, dear listener, whoever you are, uh, it was gonna be my mom's birthday that Saturday, and I already had plans to hang out. It's like, oh, yeah, I would love to hang out Saturday, but it's gonna be I can't. Like I can't ditch my mom on her birthday, especially when things are just starting to get good with her again. She's actually acting like a mom and whatever, blah blah blah. And she's like, Mason, you don't have to explain it. That's fine. Like, and I'm like, if you want to schedule for next Saturday, and she's like, yeah, I'm open to that. It's like, all right, cool. Um, so then that happens. It's like, sweet, awesome. But so then I'm basically what I'm going through the entire week of culinary, excited about this, and then on Friday, I'm gonna go to my friend's concert, right? And it's like, all right, cool. Um, Also, in between that, she's like, yeah, I think you're sweet, like, um, I was like, oh, well, I appreciate that. I try my best. And she knows I'm into her, like I've told her multiple times. I flirt with her. It's like, all right. But then I also invited her to the concert, but it was like what a few like a week or something, and I was like, it's understandable if you can't because you work Friday. She's like, I'm like, hey, are you gonna go to the concert? And she's like, no, I won't be able to. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine, it's whatever. I'm like, well, what time do you want to meet up at the place? Because we haven't really set a time, we just set a date. And then she's like, well, about that, I'm gonna have to cancel. And then I'm already at the concert at this point. I'm like an hour and a half away from my house. I'm with friends. I'm like, I see that, and I'm like, we're not gonna respond to that until I get up in the morning tomorrow. Cool. But basically, she's like, yeah, we're gonna have to reschedule. She didn't even say anything about rescheduling. She's just like, yeah, we're gonna have to cancel. I'm so sorry. Um, and she's like, and I'm like, before. I was like, well, it's gonna suck that you're not here because I was really hoping to, meet one specific pretty woman. But I guess I'll just have to go and not do that. She's like, well, you can still meet a pretty woman there, blah blah. And I'm like, well, hold on, no, that wasn't the plan, not at all. But then I get that message, and it's like, well, whatever. So then I'm enjoying myself. It's nice. And then I drive home, get home around midnight, wake up, text her back, being like, hey, what the fuck? You know? Like, it's not even inherently why she canceled. Why she canceled is completely understandable, right? I'm not really sure how I feel about saying what she does because, it's kind of a bit more private information. I don't care about sharing stuff about me, but whatever. But why she canceled was very understandable. I can understand perfectly fine. It's just the way she went about it that really got me, because it's like, how are you going to cancel after asking me to go out and then scheduling later saying that you can do that and then not tell me until last minute after I asked you? Like, why wouldn't you tell me when it was canceled? Why would I have to ask you if it's canceled? I didn't even ask you if it was canceled. But like, it's whatever, right? So, also, what's the time of this recording? 10:01. Anyway, but she's like, why would I have to, like? It doesn't make any sense. Like, you didn't even like try to reschedule. You were just like, yeah, no, it's canceled. Blah blah. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, it seems like you're just avoiding me. Like, you got cold feet all of a sudden or whatever, blah blah blah. Like, I don't understand. Because this she goes out to concerts pretty often, right? Like, that's her shtick. She does that a lot. But it's like, as soon as, like, I feel like when it comes into terms with me, it's like, well, yeah, no, I don't want to. And it's like, well, that doesn't make any sense, because you love going to these concerts. You even said that was one of your all-time favorite bands that was going to be there. But that's whatever. That's besides the point. That didn't really matter. That's whatever. But it's like, it's just the fact that she didn't really try to reschedule or do anything. And she says sorry a lot. And it's kind of getting to the point where it's like, well, you say sorry and then you learn from the mistake and try your best to not do it again, right? That's what sorry means. You don't say sorry. You shouldn't really be saying sorry super often, right? But she says it a lot. That's whatever. I'm kind of building a profile around her at this point. I don't know. But what it feels like through text is like, because she doesn't like to text, right? She's a bad texter. She's told me. And I have no reason to not believe her, you know. But at that point it was like, well, I'm like, what the fuck, whatever. So Saturday rolls around. I'm sick anyway. But it's the principle of the matter, you know. It's like, cool. And then I'm talking with her again, being like, it's not cool. I feel like I'm being avoided. And then I just kind of feel bad, because it's like, I don't understand. Because how are we going to be talking? Right? And then you're like, well, I'm not in the right headspace for this. Completely understandable reasons. I'm not even gonna like fight her on that. What she was going through is perfectly understandable. You're not ready for it, you don't have time for it, blah blah. That's cool. But like 3 months, you remember. You said you would, and you did. I'm happy about that. You said you would talk back. You'd get back with me, and you did. Cool. So I guess there is some level of interest, right? One would assume there is some level of interest, and she knows right from the get-go that I am interested in her, right? Because I initiated talking with her at a concert, right? Like I I, I got her number and stuff, blah blah, and then we would text, communication. 3 months later, she talks back. She initiates it and then invites me out, and then cancels without saying anything until I say something, and then doesn't really offer a way to reschedule. And then just says, "Yeah, sorry, I'm bad at communication." That's not all she says. She says a whole bunch of other stuff, right? It's like that's like one of the things, and it's like, yeah, I can tell, obviously. Um, but if you're sorry, that means you're gonna try to do better next time. You're not gonna do the same thing. That's whatever. Um, but like I feel like whenever I flirt with her, or it's not even like just flirting. It's not even just flirting. I can feel the 10-foot pole she's keeping me at a distance with. Right? I can feel it. And she's like, "I think you're sweet, but I don't know like how I'm going to like we're just not close." And it's like, that's understandable. She's like, "I don't know how I'm going to really get close to you just through text." And it's like, you're not even really giving it a chance to not be over text. Really? Right? Like you're not allowing that to happen. Cuz every time we're about to hang out, it gets canceled. This is the second time it's happened. The first time was 3 months ago, where we had a set date and time, and then she canceled. I was like, "All right, cool." And then the same thing happened here, and it's like, "All right, cool." So it's like, what the fuck is going on? Do you have a commitment issue? Like what's going on? Because that's what it feels like. It feels like she has a commitment issue, where it's like she wants the the love and affection and blah 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 and so on and so forth, but at the same time, from her own experiences, it hurts. So you shouldn't do that. And it's like, that's understandable, but don't let it fucking get to you. I don't let it get to me, unfortunately. God damn it. But it's like, all right, cool. Uh, but it genuinely feels like she's keeping me at a distance. And it's like, what are we supposed to do here? Like, you don't want to plan anything because you don't want to reschedule or cancel plans. And it's like, I told you, I am perfectly fine with canceling last minute. It's just, if I'm directly involved, just keep me in the loop. That's what I ask. I would say I'm a pretty good go with the flow person. I don't really care too much, right? As long as you show some type of effort of wanting to do it, like it's cool. But it's so weird because she shows the effort of wanting to do it, but at the same time, she doesn't. Because I could feel her hesitate whenever I flirt with her, or whenever she has to be like, "Yeah, or we're gonna have to cancel." Like, I can understand the hesitation between the canceling, because no one wants to get bad news, but it's like, I'm not the one to kill the messenger. It's like, shit fucking happens, like it just happens. And it, like, I'm not going to get mad if life gets in the way, but it, like, if you don't communicate, of course I'm gonna get a little frustrated. It's like, why not? Like, what's going on? And it's not like I like when we're texting. She follows this pattern from like before the 3 month hiatus, whatever you want to call it. Um, the first few days was fine, and then it would get slower, 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 slower. And I was like, blah. I was like, all right, cool. 3 months later, I was like, first day, first couple days, I was like, cool, 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 cool. And then slower, 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 slower. And then we're at the same point again. And it's like, I don't understand what's wrong. And she's like, I think you're way more into this than I am. And I'm like, and I haven't texted her back yet because it's like, I have 5 thoughts and I could give you 5 essays right now. But I feel like it would be very, I feel like I'm making a lot of assumptions in these essays and I really don't want to do that. So I'd prefer if we could just call so I can get these out of the way quickly and not try to make as many assumptions as possible. Because I don't want to be rude to you. And what I say, I feel like is a big call out, and I don't want to do that to someone, but at the same time, if that's what it feels like, that's what I'm going to say. Because, you got to call it how it is, unfortunately. But I only got, a minute left. Shit. But anyway, I cried for the first time, not of sadness, but I think of passion. So I think that was really weird. I've never done that before. And I didn't really know what to do. I was just crying out of passion and I was just kind of sitting there. Um, but yeah, I want to get that out of the way first. But yeah, she shows a bunch of the signs of being interested, but she also shows a bunch of signs of just hesitation and not letting me get or letting us get closer. It sucks. But goodbye, fellow listener, whoever you are.